Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a few reactions of all the videos that I pretty much compilated. I posted a lot of these videos on, if not all, on my social media. Please make sure to follow me because I share a lot of really important information on my Instagram, X, TikTok, all these channels, but definitely my Instagram because that's where you can find all my other channels. And Instagram and X, I share a lot of information. Definitely some information that I share on X I don't always share on Instagram, so you do want to follow me on both. But today we're just gonna react to the videos of this of the leftist media, how they are so shocked, they can't believe. How is it possible that, you know, we did everything in our power to manipulate all these people and we still, like, they still didn't believe us? What? I mean, I am shocked that a lot of people still believe them. Like, I'm amazed how dumb people can be. And it's just like, because they're so obvious. Like, they're so cynical about it, so obvious about it. And they shameless. And they just know people are not going to do any research, and they just show like how much, like, all these celebrities being paid. If you have to get paid to endorse someone, let me tell you something, you really don't want to endorse them. That's all I have to say. Like, if I have to get paid to do something, it's because I wouldn't otherwise do it for free. That's basically it. So yeah, let's react to this. It's radical, honestly, like how detached from reality they are. I mean, I know they're not stupid. Like, these journalists, like, they don't do real journalism. Real, true journalist, somebody that says like, there seems to be this problem. There's this report. People are claiming this. Let me go ahead and interview both sides and see what is the real truth. Let me get to the bottom of this, which is practically what I'm doing. Like, I did zero on journalism, and I'm being a better journalist than these freaking journalists that get paid, you know, thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do their job, and they're not doing their job. What they're doing is indoctrinating. Like, it's shameful. Like, these people should be ashamed of who they turned out to be just to make ends meet. So you're a charlatan, you're a thief, a liar, a manipulator for living, you know, professionally. You do professionally manipulating and scamming people. Okay, good for you. You went to college and did all these, you know, and did all these studies to end up being a fraud. Congratulations.
And they need to be honest. And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. It's not just misogyny from white men. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. It's misogyny from black men. Things we've all been talking about. Might be race issues with Hispanics.
She ran a flawless campaign, and I maintain that.
Cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color.
I love how they just call us racist for everything, and unless we do what they say. So unless you think as I tell you and you vote for who I tell you to vote, otherwise I'm just gonna call you every name that I can think of until something sticks and something really, really bothers you. Like, this is literally kindergarten child level type of, like, schemes, you know. It's insane. It's ridiculous. Who is falling for this? Please let me know who in the world is falling, because not even my most this kind of charade has never been seen before in the past that I remember, especially because, you know, social media was not something in the past when I was my most, I guess, liberal times, because I never used to like watching news or anything like that. I don't know if they were like this before, but before I remember, like, media used to be very kind of like not be obvious about their political views, but now they just are cynical. But they always kind of have like a shady way of showing, you know, portraying a news and stuff like that. There will be more convenience towards what their paradigm. But now we know that, okay, there's leftist media, how they see that news, and then there's right-wing media, how they see the news. And you gotta kind of find somewhere in the middle. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But seeing the way they talk about these issues and stuff like that, I'd be like, this is so much bullshit. Like, it's so obvious that they're lying. It's so obvious that they're being paid for this. It's so obvious that they they set their mind on a point of view, and they're not going to change that. So no matter what I tell them, you know, they're going to continue to think that somebody who doesn't vote for another person based on color is racist. And let me tell you something. If you vote for a candidate based on their race, you are the racist. You are stupid. First of all, racist people are stupid. And usually I feel like I've seen more racist behavior coming from people of color, or just pretty much other races that are not like non-white people, than actually white people. Like it's so rare the white person that you meet and they really they really want everything white and they don't like people of color or whatever. I think a lot of the new races these days, I think they're just fed up with, you know, how like the culture clash, like how different we are culturally, and people tend to, I do understand that feeling that people tend to want to be more unanimous, like hang out with people that are alike, because I see it everywhere. I grew up in Mexico, okay? Over there, it's not as stupid as is over here. We're like, what's your race? What's your nationality? Da, da, da. We don't segregate based on like what color our skin is. It's more like our way of thinking. So in our class, so in the private school I went to, there wasn't necessarily like a classism there, because we kind of like we didn't really know how much money our parents had. Obviously we could tell the ones that had the most money because they have the private car, or they have the cool parties, but other than that, it was like a level playing field, and we just separated based on, you know, just personality, interest. So some people have certain ways of being more nerdier, more popular, more, you know, the sporty people, or whatever, you know, the party people, all these, you know, different groups, and that's how we will separate. So sometimes certain groups we wouldn't get along because we'd just be like, oh, like they're just so, you know, weird, or they're so cringy, or they're, you know, like, oh, like we will clash in ways of being and ways of thinking. So yeah, sometimes will piss us off, like, oh, why is this person like this? Like, dude, such a fucking buzzkill, or, you know, he made us he ruined us from, you know, getting off early from the class, or whatever, you know. So those are the kind of things, and just how I noticed that at a very young age, I just feel like it's the same situation everywhere, but it gets showcased differently, it gets portrayed differently. Like, you know, now that you're in a country where you get so many different types of culture, obviously some cultures you just be like, why are these people like this? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that they, you know, come to my neighborhood and they bring X and Y and Z kind of way of being, and no, I don't like that. And that's such a normal, that is not racism, that is literally normal human behavior. I even think animals have that, you know. We tend to identify and like and be attracted to things that we just personally like, and then naturally reject things that we don't like. So if I don't know, like if you're a punker, right, you love to see that, you know, more people that are like you, or especially when you go to a concert, right? People love going to concerts because you see a bunch of people that are in the same field, and you're like the same thing. So alike minds attract. They tend to do that. The same with, like, for example, churches. Sometimes people look for different churches until they find the one that has the kind of crowd that they get along with. So the message is pretty much it's the same one. Like, why does it matter, right? But people look for community, and they look for people that are alike, that are like them. So that is such a, you know, very human thing, and it's not racism. So, but from there, these race issues that political people bring up just to cause division, they rise, and yeah, they portray them as being racist, they portray them as people saying mean things when they're assholes, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think this need for division, or this need for rejection of other people has necessarily anything to do with race. And has everything to do with pretty much being human, you know, being human, and not liking certain things and voicing it out. Pretty much, I think that's what it goes down to. And I think that if I go to somebody's home, I think it's my responsibility to be respectful and not be hated by the host of the home versus the other way around. We're like, well, you know, I'm gonna be myself in your house, and I'm gonna, you know, I like to walk with shoes around my house. I don't care if you don't like me to walk with shoes in your house, but you need to like us. Otherwise, if you don't like how I am, then you're just this bad person. You're just X, Y, and Z. And that's just what it goes down to. I hope this serves as an explanation for racism. But let's keep watching these people, because they're going to mention the race card all the way.
Campaign, and I maintain that.
Cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Let's just be clear. Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed the Taylor Swiftie to the Swifties.
This is about the Democratic Party and being radically disconnected from the rest of the country. Look at the map.
Of course, I'm very disappointed.
And another 4 years of Donald Trump?
I don't want to even talk about him today.
How do you feel about the recent election and Donald Trump being the next president-elect?
It's nothing to do with whether or not we won. The point, my point is, we can't.
Great.
You're going to get in a time machine and go back 4 years.
The vice president win if the economy was so great?
That's not the point I'm making.
So
the point I'm go back.
Is your message didn't resonate.
I said that.
Vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020. So we could show you that as well. We just bring that up on the east side there. Literally nothing. Literally not one county. Are there any
to step up and back Kamala Harris publicly. $5 million for Megan Thee Stallion, $3 million for Lizzo, $1.8 million for Eminem. I mean, is that normally how it goes? You spend $20 million, you get yourself in debt to try to get a bunch of rich celebrities on stage? I've never seen that.
You're reckoning in America that people are going to have to sit back and say, maybe some of these things Trump's espousing are not crazy. Maybe he's right.
I do see it differently because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite who are hurting tonight. There are African-American women who know a little bit about being talked down to. If you're a parent of a trans kid, your child's face was used as a springboard to power for somebody. That doesn't feel good. There are going to be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes at the dry cleaners to people who don't have papers.
This dude is a freaking pervert. The fact that he is talking about, oh, parents of trans kids, oh, you know, they're not going to be able to transition their children anymore. And not only that, but their children were used for political gain. How, like, stupid does he? Well, a lot of you guys are probably very stupid. A lot of you guys voted for 80% of black people still voted for Kamala. Come on, dude, come on. Like, you gotta give me one good reason. Why would you vote for her? Like, why would you vote for her? Besides her being a woman, we're not voting for the, you know, photo of Forbes magazine, for the front page of Forbes magazine. We're voting for the president of the United States, the person that is going to dictate whether our country stays a free country, whether our Constitution stays respected, and important amendments like the freedom of speech stays protected, or we become a communist country where, like, we're already halfway there. You know, minimum wage rises are so extreme, so ridiculous. In states like New York and California, like, they not even talk about how bad the city is, how much homelessness, how much poverty, how much, you know, struggle there is, how much drug addiction, how much depression there is in these states, but also the fact that people don't even want to invest money on an education anymore or go to college, because you can just make just about the same flipping burgers at McDonald's. You can make just about the same just doing anything else that requires no effort. Minimum wage is almost as much as, you know, a career paying job. So why even bother? Why investing all this time and money learning a skill, becoming responsible, taking more responsibility at a job, when the difference in payment, it ain't much. It ain't much, especially with how extremely expensive those living in those states is, how extremely expensive it is to make ends meet, to pay rent, to groceries, all these basic necessities. It's impossible, and especially nowadays, you gotta have, like, sometimes 2 families or couples sharing one apartment because rents have skyrocketed insanely. In the last 4 years, rent went up like $1,000 per, like at least $1,000 in difference. It's at least $1,000 difference. We used to pay $1,000 less just 4 years ago, or more than $1,000. So this is insane. The radical shift of inflation. This inflation that in the amount of taxes that we pay in democratic, communistic states like freaking California, where we kind of like get to have no say. They want to put more control, more government control, and it leaves the people to have no control over what happened to our democracy. What happened to we get to vote on these issues. We get to speak up. No. Every time we get less and less and less rights. Like the fact that now parents in California do not have the right to oppose their children's gender affirming care. Like, get the hell out of here. This is insane. This is literally out of a nightmare movie. This is literally out of a horror movie. It's horrible, the fact that they are doing this to us.
That doesn't feel good. There are going to be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes at the dry cleaners to people who don't have papers. There are going to be people who are going to be cleaning your teeth tomorrow who don't have papers.
They should be having papers. Why are we hiring more people without papers than people without? Why is there so many people unemployed? My parents being one of those people. My dad really struggling to get work he works for the movie industry, and he doesn't get work because these mafia catering companies are preferring to give work to their family members that just crossed the border. So my dad is left without a job. Why are we giving more work? Why are these illegal immigrants more important than the American people? Why are so many people unemployed, living on the streets, having to move out of the state, or going back to live with their parents, or living with multiple families in one home, while we're hiring all these people without papers? Like, explain to me why. Why is this a situation? Why are all these companies, all these McDonald's warehouses hiring illegal immigrants instead of hiring citizens? Why? Because citizens are not making enough. And if they can live off of unemployment, or they're looking for other jobs that are more comfortable, and what happens? All these companies are either not hiring them, or rather hire illegal immigrants to pay them just a little bit less. Like, no, I'm sorry, but this is not okay. What is wrong with you? Who in the world, in what country will you ever hear somebody say that they'd rather give work to illegal immigrants than to their own people? Like, when have you ever seen that? You're supposed to want more jobs for your people. Like, tell me what country does this? What country tells their people that they need to be okay? They need to be okay with being on unemployment because they need to worry about illegal immigrants first.
It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare.
With a nightmare? Because they decided to come to this country illegally? Like, there's many ways to come to this country. They need to ask for asylum. There are legal ways to ask for asylum. But if, for whatever reason, your asylum got denied or whatever, and you just are not allowed to stay in this country, that's not the end of the world, okay? There's so many people, I know so many people that have gone through hard things and they make it up. Having a life-threatening disease or things like that is the end. That is the end of the world. Those are bad things that you should be worried about. You know what really sucks? I've seen so many small businesses just in my city alone, a city that is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. I've seen so many small businesses shut down. What really sucks is investing all of your life savings, all of your credit, all of your investments, everything you got, your time, sweat, hours, efforts, every single moment, and then having all that being taken away because of government regulations, because of insane taxes, because rent is so high, because of whatever reason. And I've seen so many businesses shut down. And just like that, from one moment to the next, I met people in this situation. From one moment to the next, their entire dreams, their entire business being taken away from them. Being told that you cannot, being fired from a job pretty much, or being fired from the, being kicked away from the place you live. I've been kicked out before. I was one time that I couldn't renew my lease in one apartment because I didn't get along with my tenants. It feels fucked up. It feels pretty shitty, but it's not the end of the world. So that's why it's important to be ready. You come to this country the illegal way, saved your money for whatever reason, whatever time you got to work here. Be thankful and be lucky that you did that. Okay, I know so many of my friends from my private school who did a careers, everything, and they're still not, making enough money in their country because there's inflation everywhere. And they would love to have the opportunity to come to another country, work for a few months, make double the money that they make in their country and save it and take it back. For whatever the reason, you can't just think like, oh, I'm in this new country now, I want to live here forever, I have dreams this and dreams. We all had dreams. We all have dreams. I had a dream of being a movie director, and that didn't happen. But you know what? Sometimes things happen for a reason. So you can't just tell people like, oh, well, they have dreams and hopes and da-da-da. We all have dreams and hopes. That doesn't mean that you get to break the laws. The laws are here for a reason, and I'm sorry, but we can't just import the entire world into this country. Like, imagine if we're gonna let just a few people come in, especially because of all the problems that happen at the border. We need secure borders so no more drugs, no more guns are being crossed over, no more child are being enslaved. Like, we need secure borders, first of all. And second of all, regarding immigration laws, I don't know, I'm not an expert on that, but I do know that those laws are there for a reason. And if they're not giving papers or giving, work permits and all that stuff to these people that want to work here, if they're not doing that, it has to be for a reason. If the country really needed all these people from other countries to come and work here, they would just be giving free work permits. And if they're not giving it to you, it's because the country doesn't want to. You have to respect the country's laws. You don't get to just break those laws because you want to. And as an American citizen, you should know this. You should respect your country's laws. If you think that you just being merciful and helping other people. My family are in the other room. We all have dreams of helping other people. We all have dreams of helping the most needed. That was one of my biggest accomplishments when I was little. But you have to find a way to do that the right way. You have to figure out how to really help people. Because one thing I learned, because I always thought when I was little, like, oh, I'm gonna have a lot of money, and when I'm rich, I'm gonna donate most of my money to the poor, because like I don't need that much money. Rich people have too much money. Like, I've been thinking rich people just have like a bunch of money just sitting on their bank account. That's ignorant me, little child me, right? But now that I know a little bit about finances and economy, I know that it doesn't really work that way. Also, yeah, there is really people who want to have like extremely luxury, over the top kind of lifestyles. And you know what? If they have the money to afford it, that's okay. That's fine. They can do with their money whatever they want. Because let me tell you something. Rich people spending money on stupid, luxurious, over-the-top, ridiculous lifestyles, it's a good thing. Because that creates, they are spending their money on other businesses. You have the right to start a new business, like, I don't know, doing charcuterie boards for rich parties or whatever the hell, and these rich people spending stupid money on something they could do themselves, but they're spending it on your business. So they're creating businesses, and by making your business booming, then you can hire more people, and that's how economy gets created. People spending money on stupid shit, it's a good thing. What's not a good thing is people giving away their money just for free to people just because they're poor. Because guess what? When you give a free fish to a person or a family, you feed a person for a day. But when you teach people how to fish, or you pay them to fish for you, you feed a family for life. You invest on this family, you give people a source of income. Because you can't just be giving all your money away. Like, rich people don't just make money forever. Most rich, like people who are stupidly rich that don't even have to work at the end of their life, they didn't want to. Like, for example, Elon Musk, Bill Gates. those kind of people, yeah, those are like literally the 1% of the fucking world's population. Those people don't really, it's almost like they didn't really exist in a way, because it's kind of like those really rare cases where they have multi-billion-dollar companies and they just keep generating income. But most rich people, like, or what we consider like the higher percentile people that are wealthier, that they created some kind of a sustainable wealth, those people are not that many. And most of the time, people to get to be to that level, you have to work for many years. So you have to go through many years of sacrifice, struggle, like I did. Sacrifice, struggle, not spending on this, not spending on that, until you finally get to your wealthy time. So by the time you make it, most people maybe have a few really good years, and then that money you have to be very careful with your money, because you say, okay, have really good years, but what if I have a bad year? And also, like, I want to have enough money for the future, for my retirement. So that's how it's done. Rich people are not just like, oh, this person made $1 million last year, like, let's take half of that, because they don't need that. They don't need $1 million. But yeah, this person made $1 million maybe the last 5 years, and maybe he's gonna make another $1 million 3 more years. But then after that, maybe he makes half of that, or maybe he starts making nothing, or maybe he gets sick and then no longer makes the same amount of income. So sometimes people make really good money, and like nobody makes $1 million. Let's be honest. But I don't know. Let's say they make $400,000. Consider rich $400,000. That they make that amount of money for like maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years. But then after that, first of all, $400 in 10 years from now, it ain't gonna be what it's $400 today, just so we know. And then after that, they're gonna be making maybe less money, and their lifestyle is still gonna be the same, maybe more because of inflation. So people don't make the same amount of money forever. People are not necessarily rich forever. So taking away money, like if I was to be like, oh, I had a really good year this year, I'm just gonna give half of it, like I promised when I was like 5 years old, I'm gonna give half of my money to all the poor. What's what happened? I'm gonna give $1 million to 1 million people, and these people are gonna buy a couple things for eat, and then the next day they're gonna be hungry again, and I'm gonna be broke because I gave all my money that could have been my savings for my retirement, for all the years that I could have said. So this is how it works. It's not that easy. Giving money away to the poor, I mean, it's a lot of rich people give it to organizations that work on these programs that help in one way or another. That's even a better way of helping. But yeah, basically it's way better than you just like spend all your money as much as possible, support as many businesses as possible, than you literally just giving up free money. The worst thing you can do to help poverty is give up free money. That is the worst. That only makes poverty worse, like way worse, trust me. Like I used to think the other way around, but now it is what it is. And then especially, I don't give, for example, I don't give food. I no longer give money to kids asking panhandling in the streets, or when I go to Mexico, stuff like that. I don't do that anymore, especially if they're children. Why? Because I know that their parents or evil people are exploiting these children to get them to utilize, empathy and the sorrow from people and make money that way, so they can use the money, because the children don't get to keep the money. The children are just being exploited, first off. Second off, when you're giving them money, guess what happens? More people start joining this pattern. More people start being like, oh, why do I get a job when I can just go ahead and panhandle and exploit my children? And they do it by generations. Like every year I go, there's just more and more children being exploited to get money from people. It's really, really sad. But when you enable these kind of behaviors, you're just going to get more of these kind of behaviors, which goes back to this very famous saying, right? When you tax the people that work to give to people that don't, you're going to have more people that don't want to work. That is the end. That is basically it, You're the incentive, whatever gets incentivized, it's what's going to be booming. If you incentivize not working, there's going to be a lot more people not wanting to work. If you incentivize working, or working harder, or becoming better at what you do, or obtaining better skills, you're gonna get more people searching for better skills because that's where the money is at. And not working is not. So the second you cut off people, be like, I'm sorry, no work, no money, you're gonna have less people that don't work. That is it. I don't know how these liberals just don't get it, dude. Like it just takes not being a child to understand this basic, very basic economics 101, very basic knowledge of how money works. But let's just see these very, very famous and rich celebrities talk about how they think economy works.
Your pocketbook's bad, not because the Bidens did anything, not because the economy is bad.
Oh, really?
Your grocery bills are what they are, is because the folks that own the groceries are pigs.
Yeah.
But no one articulated that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that let's talk about the reasons why gas is high, not because the Bidens didn't try to help, but because the folks who control that decided, I want more money. But see, you said a great thing, and I want to.
If you have any questions or anything you want to add, please follow me and make sure to put it on the comments. I love reading the comments, but I much very appreciate all the support and the help to grow so we spread more awareness.